Welcome to another video by justlawsolicitors.com. My name is John Towell, Director of Legal at justlawsolicitors.com. And today I'm joined by Marisa Moreno Castillo. Hi,
Hi.
Marisa.
Hi.
Now, Marisa is the big boss at the law firm. You
Okay.
are?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And you founded the law firm back in 1992.
Back in 1992.
And
Yeah.
even in 1992, you were still a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
Before that.
you can do your maths, everyone. Work it out. Right, so in this video, I thought we'd talk about retiring to Spain. We did do a video about retiring to Spain, and it was just me talking, and I didn't think anybody would watch it, and we got, at last count, 110,000 views. So I thought, okay, better make a better video, a bit more structured. Okay, so this is the reason for this video. It's about retiring to Spain. Good news is there's no age limit. Anybody can retire to Spain at any age. Now, I suppose the first thing really is we are lawyers, but we can't tell people if Spain is for them, can we? Spain's a diverse country with beaches, mountains, deserts.
Well, I used to say it's not the first time that our regular listener or whatever, they're going to know that I always say that Spain is like a continent.
Yeah.
We have everything. We have desert. Sorry, we have beaches. We have mountains. We have snow. We have a ski station.
Yeah.
We have wet part of Spain, like Galicia,
Yeah.
that rain every day, even in summer.
Yeah.
We have Ireland.
I mean, we're recording this down on Benalmádena Costa, but today you could go to the beach or you could go skiing in the Sierra Nevadas
In
2
the same
hours away.
day.
So really, you have to ask yourself the question, is Spain for you? You can replicate an English climate if you wanted to.
Yeah.
In Galicia, you could go and live in the desert, the good, the bad, and the ugly, Clint Eastwood, all that in Almeria.
Yeah.
You can have cities.
You can have subtropical weather too in Canary Island, in the coast of Granada.
If you just want, I want it guaranteed, go to the Canary Islands. So many different things, so many cities to live in that are not discovered yet, like Cordoba. You don't have to go to Madrid or Barcelona. And then, of course, you've got all along the south coast here, all along the east coast with all the palm trees, beaches, urbanizations, condominiums, call them what you want. So basically, if Spain's for you, you're probably going to know a lot of English people coming here on holiday, and they know Spain. But the other thing that you have to think about is, what tax will I pay in Spain? Because if you live in Spain, you're going to be a tax resident, aren't you?
Well, you have to be tax resident if you spend more than 183 days in the calendar year.
Yeah.
In that case, you have to pay the taxes in Spain. There's a few more things, because in case that your family lives here and all your assets are here, but even if you spend less than this period, the tax office can consider.
A lot of people think tax residency is just 183 days or more, but it's a bit more complicated. One of the criteria is that. The other criteria is, do you have money here? Do you have family here? But fortunately, we have Pablo, our tax lawyer, and he can give you advice as to what taxes you would pay if you came to live in Spain.
Or he can advise too how to organize your assets in case that you don't want to pay the taxes in Spain too.
Yeah.
That in the legal way you can
nothing,
manage.
Nothing dodgy.
No, it's obviously, but that's make some difficulties or requirement that you have to fulfill.
Yeah, so see a tax lawyer, and the good news is you don't pay tax twice, because there's a double taxation agreement between Spain and most countries, like, for example, US, Canada.
Yeah, Western countries.
Yeah, most of them have a double taxation agreement. Yeah, so think about the taxes.
No, in Denmark.
Not Denmark. So if you watch this in Denmark, sorry, not Denmark. Marisa is also the consul for Denmark in Andalusia and Extremadura, and I think she's rushing off to the consulate after this.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing to watch out for is, sometimes, for example, in the UK, if you make a profit on your primary residence, you don't pay tax on that, but that doesn't apply in most cases in Spain. So if you are selling your property, make sure that you ask Pablo about capital gains tax, because if you make a profit on your property in the UK and you move to Spain in the same calendar year and you're a tax resident, in some cases, not all cases, in some cases you will be liable for Spanish capital gains tax on your UK property or your Canadian property or but it's very easily avoided. You're not doing anything legal. It's just a question of timing. Some exemptions depending on your passport for reinvestment, some exemptions for if you're over 65. But again, take advice from Pablo. But if there's one thing to learn from the taxes is watch out for capital gains tax. The other thing is if you're coming to Spain, you might be in a position where you don't even need a visa to come here. Some people,
obviously all the European countries.
Ireland, Germany, France, Estonia.
Yeah, all the countries that belongs to the
Sweden.
Sweden. My Norwegian too.
Paralegal, our new paralegal speaks Swedish and Norwegian, so you don't have to decipher our English.
Switzerland, Norwegian, because there is all this. But anyway, the biggest part of the European countries, less United Kingdom, you don't need a visa.
Yeah. So Ireland, you don't need a visa. So happy days, you don't need a visa. Now, if you don't need a visa, you still need to prove you have around 7,000 euros a year income or savings to come here, and you will need, we'll talk about it later, but you will need health insurance. So don't think you can just come here.
And you have to be registered here.
You have to register,
as a European citizen. But anyway, it's not a visa, but it's like a
permit.
Like a permit, and that's it.
Documents.
Documents,
Now,
we love documents in Spain.
Yeah, the Spanish red tape. The other thing is if you retire into Spain and you don't have an EU passport, so you're watching this from Canada, South Africa, New Zealand, United Kingdom, you will need what's called 4 times the IPREM to get a non-lucrative visa. Now, that's just one of the criteria. Now, the IPREM is set by the Spanish government. It's not because of Brexit. It's not aimed and targeted.
The idea is that you have to prove that you have income enough to support yourself, and you don't going to be potentially a client of the social services, let's say.
So they say
this is the moral
4 times. So it's around 28,800. We don't know why there's a difference between Irish people and, for example, people from America or the UK. It's just the rules. It has to be 4 times. There's a bit of a discount if it's a couple. You only need about 35. If you're a couple, you don't need double.
But this is at the present time, because this is going to change, because the IPREM is based in the minimum salary established by the government. So
this is end of April 2025. So IPREM, what they do is they set the IPREM at 400%, so they don't need to keep changing the numbers, and then every year they publish what the IPREM is going to be. But Anna's and Ivan are the specialist visa lawyers, and you can speak to them. But just like any visa, you would need to show the money, but the money can't be from earnings. It has to be passive income or savings.
Yeah.
So if you have dividends, a pension,
trust
fund,
or own a company in your own country,
and you're not working in the company.
You're not working, or maybe you are the CAO, but it's only for very far away. You're not
actually working in the company.
Managing, but
passive income.
Passive income. It's not a problem. The idea is that if you come with a non-lucrative visa here, obviously you cannot work here.
Yeah, but you can use income, passive income, or savings to do that. When you renew, if you're relying on savings, so you renew for year 2 and 3, you have to show double, and 4 and 5 you'd show double. But it's not a fee; it's just money you have to have in a bank. It doesn't have to be in a Spanish bank. The figures could change.
The point is that each consulate, because the law is that, and each consulate, the consul can balance your financial situation, basically.
Yeah. Some consulates, again, listen to the Move to Spain podcast, because I spoke to Anna on the Move to Spain podcast. Some consulates divide the 28,800 by 14, and some divide it by 12. Why is that? Because in Spain, some people get paid 14 times a year. So it isn't consistent between the different consulates. So non-lucrative visa if you don't have an EU passport.
Anyway, let me say something, that if the 28,000 euros per year, if you are in the limit, maybe what the consulate going to balance your situation. But if you are not in the limit and you have much more, they don't
speak to Anna, because Anna sometimes advises a little bit more depending on the consulate, to be sure.
Consulate, and the country where you come from.
So just check with Anna first. Like I say, so the non-lucrative visa, 28,800 if you don't have an EU passport, could be a little bit more. around 35,000, a little bit more if you're a couple, depending on the consulate. Children over 18, well, you have to prove they're a dependent. How do you do that? Well, ask Anna. It depends on each case. There's criminal records. Now, everybody coming to retire to Spain or live in Spain has to have private health insurance. Now, if you're an American watching this, it's your lucky day. You're going to be paying a tiny fraction of what you're paying in the States. If you're English, we're very sorry. Yeah, there's a fee. Now, the good news is the private health insurance is very reasonable. It's very good. You can Google the life expectancies in Spain. They beat UK and the US for life expectancies. And if you want to, in year 2, you can pay and join the Spanish system.
Yeah, so
everyone accepted. You can be in the last bed in the hospital, wires hanging out of you. But everyone is accepted under the public system. And it's about, don't quote me, it's about 120 if you're over 65 a month, and about 60 a month if you're under 65. That's for year 2 if you want, or you can continue and join the continue with the private health insurance. And you know, Ariete is the group expert on the move to Spain, and she always answers everybody's health insurance questions. Now, I mentioned briefly the criminal record check. Again, if you've got a past conviction, speak to Anna, because it's not absolutely carved in stone, the rules on that. So speak to
this is a general rule, and you have to adapt to each person, you know, each family. So it's this is only a general guidelines, you know, guidance. It's not something that is like that is what it is. The law established the requirement, the frame of the requirement, and we have to move, and we used to do it in a daily basis, because sometimes what is work with someone is not work for another one. And not because the law changes, only because sometimes, and we have had clients that the consulate, as I say, balance and evaluate the circumstances, because sometimes if you are going to retire to Spain and you are 30 and you have been doing your job until now, and you have not only 28,000 euros, maybe you're going to have a problem or not, just depending on your circumstances.
Yeah, like I say, speak to somebody like Anna or Ivan, the specialist visa lawyers. The other thing, and I suppose everyone's shouting at the screen is, well, you know, if you come to Spain, you're going to need somewhere to live. And if you don't know Spain, and ask yourself, you know, really think about it. Do I really know Spain? If you don't know Spain, rent.
Yeah. Well, the point is that to tell you the truth, the houses in Spain, the property is a good investment too. It's in the last 2 years, the property price has rise, I think 12% around here.
I think 23 in Benalmádena and Torremolinos, 23%.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. So even if you come if you don't want to make the investment of your life, or just rent first, if not, just go for a property that you think that is easy to sell in the future, and maybe it's an investment.
Yeah. I mean, renting, you've got to be very careful, because there are a lot of scams. I mean, we don't even allow people to post rentals on the Move to Spain Facebook group, because there's just so many scams, people pretending it's their house, houses that don't exist.
Basically, it's because they ask for the money in advance, and you are sending money to a private that doesn't, maybe is not the owner. You have to bear in mind that Spain receive a lot of people from abroad, and Spain is a country that is very easy to live here. It's very easy, and people are open-minded, and we accept everybody, and we like to share with people. But because of that, there is many people, not only Spanish, that try to cheat any other people. So
just be careful. I mean, obviously, there's no requirement to take legal advice when you rent a property, but we can look into it. We can make sure that the owner is the owner. They've got all the documents. We can make sure the agent is an agent, that they have the right to rent it. We can make sure that you're not being ripped off.
And the terms of the contract, because the Spanish law is protecting the tenant mostly. So many landlords try to cheat the tenant at the beginning just to avoid this right. Even doesn't matter because this right doesn't exist and they cannot do anything to avoid it. But anyway, as we said, take advice.
Yeah, we would look through the rental contract for you. We'd try and redraft it if we could. If not, we would rewrite it. But yeah, think about rentals if you're not sure. But like I said, we can't really give financial advice, but you can Google it. Property prices are rising.
Basically, you have to think that a tenant here, if it's your house, you can prove that it's not prove, but it's your primary residency. You can expect the contract up to 5 years if you want.
Yeah.
If you want, you don't have to. But if you want.
So they try and say to you, oh, it's only 11 months or something. You can extend it up to 5 years. But like I say, if you're not sure about Spain, you're not sure about where to live, you're not sure about the Spanish lifestyle, one of the people in the couple, if you're coming as a couple and they're not sure, just try and rent first. The other thing, and we just touched on it briefly, buying a house in Spain, again, like for example, the United Kingdom, there's no legal requirement to use a lawyer, but everybody does. Use an independent lawyer like Marisa or Belen or one of the other lawyers in the office. They're only acting for you. They're not acting for the agent.
Well, by law, our duty is to protect the client's interest. It's our duty, and the clients pay us to do that, not to protect the interests of the vendor, the landlord, the estate agent. Is what is it? I don't understand what people can just trust in the estate agent. Their business is that is, of course, many of them, the biggest part of them are very, very honest, but the business is to sell properties.
Yeah, you need somebody acting for you. And if you listen to episode 5 of the podcast, there's so many things that the notary doesn't check. It's really right to have an independent.
And mostly we made for you, even if you know all that, and we made all the processes smoothly. And but look, we are lawyers, and if I have to buy a house in France on the state, I'm going to hire a lawyer. Yeah. Because we talk, we speak the same language, but the same language in a different legal system.
Yeah, the legal system is completely different. So, for example, the UK system, it's completely different. And basically, if you're going to take one thing from this video, is don't sign up anything until you've spoken to a lawyer, and make sure you know that they're a lawyer by getting their bar registration number. That's the one thing you've got to take from this whole video. And then the problem with Spain is
because here, I have to say, here in Spain and mostly on the coast, there's a lot of expert. Many other words that they use
consultants, expat advisors.
Advisors. So lawyer, if you to same in the rest of the Western countries, to call yourself lawyer, you have to have a law degree that is 6 years study at the university, and afterwards to be registered in the bar association. And believe me, we know a lot of people around here that they pretend to be lawyers and they are not.
Yeah, so make sure you take advice from a lawyer with a bar registration number. And in England, we have something called stamp duty, which is like a purchase tax. But in Spain, it's not easy to give you a figure because Spain's a big country and different regions can set their own taxes. So it can range from 4% in the Basque country to 10% in Alicante.
Yeah, it's for these that you need to an advice about all that. You have to think that Spain is a very bureaucratic country. And we have a country with many other regional government belongs to the country. So many of them has their own tax system, not for income tax, not for but yes, for company taxes, for property purchases. So it's well, as I said, the estate agent going to tell you that they can do it, and they can do it. And you know what? If nothing happened, everything is okay. But if something happened, you have a problem. Yeah. Because it's a big investment just to.
Like I say, before you sign or pay anything, get in touch with us at contact.justlawsolicitors.com, and we can send you a full breakdown, because obviously in addition to the purchase tax, you've got things like notary fees, land registry fees, things like that. Belen, if you look through TikTok, there's a video with Belen, there's a title on it about buying in Spain, and she goes into it in more detail. But hopefully we haven't put you off moving to Spain or retiring to Spain in this case. Obviously, the things you've said about buying a property, they apply equally to people who just want a holiday home, EU or non-EU citizen. Anyone can buy a property in Spain. In this video, we're talking about retirement, but the property side of it is pretty much the same, isn't it, for everybody?
And anyway, I think that in Spain, we have a very good health system.
Yeah.
We have a very good airport, high-speed trains, very good roads, and most of them are completely free. The biggest part of them are completely free. Otherwise, you have another option, reasonable option. And what else, is the property is increasing the price, is a good investment, but we are not in the level of any other countries in the western part of the world. So it's
I mean, you can spend millions in Marbella, or you can move into it looks like a house that your grandma moved out of in a mountain village for 30,000 euros.
Yeah, but the mountain village, this is only maybe 30 kilometers from, less than 30 kilometers from,
depending on what you want,
from the coast, from Malaga. No? So,
have a good trip round. Anyway, I hope I haven't put you off. And if you need any legal advice, visas, taxes, property purchases, then we've been here since 1992 at justlawsolicitors.com. And we even have the podcast as well, don't we? And Risa comes on it now and again.
I see.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching. And like I say, any questions, send us an email. And good luck.
Bye.
Bye.